So the Acolyte getting cancelled isn't exactly going over well with the Disney shills. I mean, over the past couple of days, they have been spurging. Oh boy, they're not taking this well. This is the same crew that were saying that, okay, Star Wars is no longer for you bigots and transphobes, all you racist, sexists and phobes. You know, your time is over and the time of diversity and inclusion is now. Fast forward a couple of weeks and all of a sudden your precious show gets turned down because all of the people that you denigrated didn't want to tune in to the show because you thought that you had the majority position. You thought that chasing out everybody who made Star Wars the biggest cinematic franchise of all time, they could be easily replaced by people who can't even pick the type of entertainment they want to imbibe in, let alone their own gender on a daily basis. You thought that they would be a more reliable consumer base? You're out of your mind. And because these are the freaks that have never been told no in their entire life, the products of the participation trophy, and everybody's special and unique generation, how they're lashing out as bad or even worse than they constantly claim the other side is doing. I found this very interesting. So the Acolyte stands meltdown and blame racist, sexist people after the show is reportedly scrapped. Viewership data was abysmal. We went over some of that data, of course, in the previous video, but I've heard a couple of rumors. Can't really verify them. This is, of course, just third-hand information at this point in time, but there were definite plans. Okay, so this was definitely a cancellation, by the way. They were assembling a writer's room earlier this year, February or April. They were putting out feelers for a second season, getting the people behind the scenes all ready to go on another outing in the High Republic setting. And because this show was exactly what everybody thought it was going to be, all of those plans got scuttled within the first couple of weeks of release when nobody was watching the show. $180 million flushed directly down the drain. And all you got was a goofy helmet. The numerous stands for the Acolyte, who seemingly did not even watch the series. Yeah, because that's another thing. Like, what was the finale? 335 million minutes, which ends up working out to a fraction of your average NXT episode. Like, what the hell are we doing? The series, given the show's abysmal viewerships, freaked out and melted down after it was reported the show had been canceled. Deadline's Nelly Andreeva reported that the show was canceled. The story of the Acolyte will not continue, with Lucasfilm opting not to proceed with the second season of the Star Wars offshoot starring Amanda Stenberg, source told Deadline. The report came after Nielsen released its data for the week. The Acolyte series finale aired. The show only managed to garner 335 million minutes watched, which I guess that would take in totality the entirety of the series at the week of the finale. So that's not even everybody. So that would be theoretically everybody who was binge watching all the way up to the finale, or just people going back and laughing hysterically at the first and second flashback episodes. Or maybe there were a couple of creeps that just really wanted to clap vociferously at episode 5. The big lightsaber battle that is the best Star Wars Disney lightsaber battle that there's ever been. But that could only garner 335 million minutes watched. That's less than a 2-episode premiere, which brought in 488 million minutes. It's the least minutes watched of any live-action Star Wars series finale on Disney Plus, and by a long shot. Following the report that the show was scrapped, numerous stans took to social media to share their outrage while blaming individuals they accuse of being racist and sexist. Yep, it's because it's legitimately all projection with these freaks. They're the ones who say that, oh, those racist, sexist, and bigots don't want to give a show with a strong, empowered female lead a chance. That's the only reason that you hate it. That's the reason that you call Rey and Mary Sue, is because you just hate women. I was like, no, the writing's really bad. Well, that's what a bigot would say. And I don't know, if you freak out like this, are you trying to shame people into donating the 30 minutes of their time every week to the show? Like what's your strategy here? To just lash out irrationally? Then again, I'm probably mistaken in thinking that they actually have a strategy instead of just spurking out, because this is normally what gets them whatever they want. Because everybody who's still around them, if they have family members, if they haven't driven them away, they have them living in a constant state of fear due to their narcissistic bullying tendencies. Genuinely insane to me, by the way. F the racist, sexist people who couldn't share a single brain cell and turn an eye away to what they didn't like. The review bombing and harassing that so many committed without even watching. Insane to me. Renew the Acolyte. Harassing, huh? Because that's interesting, because the only type of actual harassment that we've seen It's coming from your side, just lashing out into the void at all of these people that you claim that we are, the commentators, the reviewers, the content creators, are just looking at this stuff, reviewing the show, reviewing the actors, reviewing the people associated with this show who intrinsically hate the Star Wars fan base, wanting to pander up to you guys. And how do you respond? Oh, you lash out at the people. They're being constantly denigrated. But then at the same time, you want to claim virtue for the downtrodden. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but that's all right. We have several other examples here. Another seemingly believes that the show has incredible viewership, despite the opposite being the case. Besides, those gosh darn facts getting in the way. Another person wrote, I need to hear it from Star Wars themselves, and they need to explain why they're canceling the only show with a predominantly non-white queer cast that has incredible viewership from audiences that would never have tuned into Star Wars previously. Well, it's pretty simple. You gave this theoretical show to people, a show that was sold by having Trinity from the Matrix attached to it. But no, you made a non-Star Wars show in the Star Wars universe and nobody wanted to watch it. Yeah, because that audiences would have never tuned into a Star Wars show for it. Maybe there's a reason why, when cooler heads did prevail over at Lucasfilm, why they didn't want to take this approach to begin with, because they knew nobody was going to watch. Another person wrote, also, this just fuels the toxic side of the fandom into thinking that they hate on something enough they can get it canceled. Are you high? This is not a W for the community. Now, if it doesn't resonate with the actual people that are out there, the people that are legit Star Wars fans instead of personal politics fans, it's not going to come back around, because for as much as people like to rubberneck when they're going past a car wreck, there comes a point in time where they're eventually going to pass and it's going to exit their mind. They're not going to remember anything that they've seen, and if there was going to be a second season, the drop-off would be immense. You guys would be off to something different anyways, polluting another fandom. Canceled over misogyny and racism, by the way, because this could have easily been some of the best current Star Wars content we're going to get. Oh, it could have been. Really could have been. It just wasn't. But it was canceled over misogyny and racism. Can you cite your sources on that? Because in the show, the women got everything that they want, and they were justified in doing everything in racism. I mean, stop Asian hate, but alright. The user also wrote in another post, Star Wars content been the same boring blaster pew-pew media for years. Okay, I agree with you on this one. And we finally get a show diving into Jedi Sith lore. Not really, it's kind of a bastardized version of that. And y'all get it canceled because the lead isn't a white man. Oh, you had me in the first half, but then you lost me in the second. Because what's also kind of interesting with all of this spurging out, we got another list of people that's out here, okay? Because the freakouts never end. Comes to these people saying, oh my god, you're canceling the show when the rest of the Star Wars drivel that's out there, all wrapped up in the Mandoverse and all of that stuff is so stale. And it's like, yes, no, 1000%. All of it's crap right now. Why can't you just open your eyes? No offense, Asian woke woman. It's all just been so horrifically written for so long that actual quality Star Wars has been few and far between during the Disney tenure. So you're almost right. It's just your framing's completely wrong. But yeah, some more of these freakouts, because I find them to be endlessly entertaining. The Acolyte getting canceled because incels couldn't handle a sexy black girl and sexy Asian man serving evil villainous romance. I mean, if you need to frame everything in that way, I would wonder who's the one who's not getting rooted out on a regular basis. Just asking. In the Disney headquarters, after they canceled the Acolyte, even though it was actually a very popular. Oh yeah, that's a gif of somebody shooting somebody in the head. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. These are very reasonable people. Everyone's celebrating the Acolyte getting canceled. I will place a curse on your entire bloodline. All right. Sounds like a very reasonable person. Okay, I'm openly wondering if the general public saw a far different show than what, these people did. Yeah, no, I'm really tired of sharing this franchise I love with toxic misogynists or misogynistic, immature racists and constantly seeing them be catered to, even though the rest of us have been here all along, wanting new and fresh stories to connect deeply with all of us. So I'm tired of all the Star Wars fans, a group that she would identify with, getting what they want, but she's a real fan and she hasn't been. It's almost like you don't make any sense, lady. But then we got this banger right here. Okay, Christopher John. Oh boy, you're fighting an uphill battle, my guy. No, it's just an incredibly poorly written show. Yes, that's exactly why it was canceled. And then this freak, write a better pilot episode then. I'll wait. Oh yeah, you can't criticize something that's bad because what have you written before? Like, well, my eyes work and I can comprehend what's going on. So it's like going to the restaurant and then they served your food raw and then the waitress comes back and says, oh, could you do any better? Defense you have there. Yeah, you thought you cooked. You are all claiming the writing was bad, so why don't you do better? Well, because we don't have connections to Harvey Weinstein and can't get Disney to forego $180 million on our maiden voyage into the sci-fi genre. But then again, Harv, he backs up all of his claims, erases the misogynist one today, sadly. I know, I'm also I'm a little bit upset, but at this point in time, man, if this is the audience that Disney wants, if these are the type of people they want in the fandom, yeah, might as well have it at this point in time. All of us racist, sexist, bigots, and misogynists who ended up winning today, the pure hate and vitriol that the Star Wars fan base has is going to be the thing that's going to keep us from getting more unique ideas for the franchise. I mean, we're seeing a lot of hate and vitriol, and I only see it coming from one direction, okay? It's from all of these people that claim to think that diversity is the best thing ever, or it's for the people that still work at Lucasfilm, where you got Mark Hamill telling MAGA to go force yourself, then encourages followers to not go to the orange side. So you've got your political activists, you've got your ideological zealots. Why am I being redundant? And that's the audience that you want to cultivate, Disney. Okay, cool. And that's why it's important to just continue to point and laugh at these freaks whenever they fail. Because at this point in time, is there any fixing Lucasfilm under the Disney regime? As long as Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau is there? Yeah, absolutely not. Nothing's going to change. Yeah, might get a good season 2 under Tony Gilroy when it comes to Andor, but outside of that, Skeleton Crew is just going to be here and forgotten, likely pulling in even worse ratings than The Acolyte. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, yeah, that is definitely not going to be moving any needles. And then the Rey movie after that, well, we'll hear all of these arguments run back again when that does the Marvels type money at the box office. But instead of taking stock of their own insults when it comes to the fan base, they're just simply going to pivot and tell you that no, it's all of those bigots that went there to the theater, reviewed the show, talked about it, and because they talked about how bad it was, that reflects poorly on other people going to see it, and that you should just in fact suck up to the multi-billion-dollar company and tell them that they're awesome and excellent. Yeah, it's a very strange strategy that I'm seeing going on here. But at this point, can't really say that I'm surprised. Can't really say that I'm disappointed either. And in fact, when you see freakouts like this, I welcome it at this point in time. Because it's not the content that Star Wars is putting out that's hilarious. It's the content that these sycophants put out there that easily puts a smile on my face. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.